For most of my adult life, I was that guy ungratefully chasing a 6 and 7 figure income for all the wrong reasons. And I have a very strong feeling that you're here or you may be in that same position or know somebody in that same position. And throughout the course of my adult life, ever since I've been married, my wife was always saying, Wally, what the hell are you chasing? Well, finally, one day, it all came to me. It all figured it out. I'm Wally Carmichael. I'm going to share with you my brief story about how and why I started Men of Abundance so that I can reach out and share my story and share these stories with other men and women who are living a life of abundance and paying it forward in their community. So one day I was living in Hawaii. I was retired from the Army, did 25 years as an Army medic, and I'm sitting on the beach. I'm literally living on the beach in Hawaii. What a dream, right? And I'm on the beach and I'm in the gazebo out in front of the house, and I got my headphones on. I got my headphones on here, just these same things, and listening to a podcast or an audiobook. And my son is out playing in the water. My wife is in the house behind me, probably still asleep because me and my son always went out early in the morning. And my son is saying, Dad, come and play. And I'm like, wait a minute, just wait a minute. I'm pointing at my earphones, my headphones, and basically saying, wait till I'm done. And what I was doing was I was sitting there watching my son playing in the water on my headphones, listening to a podcast or a book, trying to figure out how to make more money so that I can live a better life, so that I can have the things in my life that I want. And here I was sitting on the beach in Hawaii with my son in the water in front of my house, living this amazing life. And I don't know if it was something that was said in the podcast, on the book, or if it was my wife's voice again ringing in my ears saying, Wally, what the hell are you chasing? And I just took the headphones off and I put them down on the table. And I went out into the water and I played with my son for a while, and we just had an amazing morning. And then we went back in the house, and I can't remember anything after that. I probably made breakfast as I normally did on the weekend or days that I wasn't working. And it just all came to me. And then it hit me that day somehow. I don't know if I came up with the idea of living a life of abundance, or in fact, I know I didn't, because later on that week, just a couple days later, a friend of mine contacts me who lives there on the island, and he says, hey, I'm going to this event I think it was like Wednesday or Thursday night or something like that. Maybe it was on the weekend. And he says, I just want you to come with me. I don't really know what it is. I just know the guy. He's going to be talking about some stuff. And I went to this event, and it was only like maybe 20 of us in the room. And in fact, one of the cast members from the original Hawaii Five-0 was in the room with us. And it was this guy, Patrick Snow, and he's talking to us about how we should write our own book about our life, whether we publish it or not. Write your own book. And he's further talking about how to become a public speaker. And he said, if you were to write a book about your life today, what would it be? And we did some exercises and stuff, and that day I came up with this book called Living Your Life of Abundance. And so I started writing this book with Patrick's help, and I just realized the book was becoming an autobiography, and I didn't want it to be about me. I knew there were other stories out there of men and women living a life of abundance and paying it forward, who had had this epiphany or were just living this life of abundance. So I decided to, long story short, create a podcast so that I could have conversations and create an audience so I can have conversations with amazing men and women of all walks of life, all over the world, and entrepreneurs, authors, you just name it, coaches of various types, all kinds of people living an amazing life of abundance and paying it forward in their community. And they all share with me one question that I ask every single one of them is a kick in the gut moment. And I share this kick in the gut moment with you, with the listeners, and I want to hear their kick in the gut moment because I want to feel the pain that they had at that point in time in their life, and then transition to a pivot point, enough is enough moment, I call it, where what did they learn from that event, and how did they come out of that, and what are they doing that? And some of them are turning their mess into their message, and they're sharing it with you on the Men of Abundance podcast. So that's what the Men of Abundance podcast is all about. That's basically where it came from and where it got started. But where it's evolved almost 2 years later, 228 episodes at the time of this recording, is it just blew my mind. It has blown my mind every single day at the comments that I get, the emails I get, the Facebook messages I get, the reviews on iTunes, the lives that have been touched from all of these conversations and from my story and from all the other people's stories. It's just really made a huge difference in so many people's lives. And it has touched me in so many ways that people have actually reached out to me and asked me to coach them in living a life of abundance. And I kind of chuckle at that only because I don't really, at the time, I didn't really know, and this was 6-7 months in, I didn't really know how to coach that. Well, I've evolved over the last couple of years. I've started playing around with it. I hired some coaches myself to teach me how to build a coaching business and to teach me how to properly present and build courses and this type of stuff. So all that kind of stuff is evolving. But I built this Patreon page because over the course of the last 2 years, I've been funding this podcast and the community 100% out of my own pocket. And quite frankly, it's about $100 a month, a little over $100 a month. But now at this point in the show and the evolution, it's time to take it to the next level. And I want to get more people to come on and do better editing and to do some of the behind the scenes stuff that has to be done to keep the show going, and do some marketing, and so we can get it out to a much wider audience. And also because my coaching business has evolved and has taken up more time. So I want to afford the opportunity to somebody else to take on some of the tedious things that have to get the show moving forward and to help it grow even further. So that's why I'm asking for your contribution. And all of the incentives that you get are amazing. I am offering so many amazing incentives. And listen, most of these incentives are for business owners. For instance, you'll get one of the incentives is you get an audio e-version of my book, No BS Business Breakthroughs, and the new one's going to be coming out really soon, the new edition. You'll get that, and you'll get access to the e-learning platform, which is amazing. But listen, if you're not a business owner and you want to contribute, you can donate, you can gift any of these gifts. I will allow you to gift any of these gifts that I have listed to somebody else who is a business owner who you feel can benefit from those products and from the e-learning platform and from my one-on-one coaching, if you choose to go that far. All right, so it's a pleasure being here with you. It's a pleasure bringing Men of Abundance to the community. It's downloaded in 63 countries last I checked, which blows my mind. I want it to go further. I want to reach out to more people. I want more people living a life of abundance and paying it forward in their communities and in some cases the world. So do what you gotta do, what you can to help support Men of Abundance. It is greatly appreciated by everybody in the community, including yourself.